So we are live, 2 minutes late, but live now, Susan.
But we
Hi, Susan.
Live. How are you this week?
Loving blessings to you too.
How are you this week?
New York.
New York and your Saarbrücken.
Yes, Saarbrücken, Germany.
Saarbrücken.
Yes. Mm.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that we can connect halfway around the world and have so many things in common. And you have been working on your first course, your first online course, and that's going well?
Yes, it continues to be so amazing because it's based on my book, and it's difficult to call it a course because the women, there are 9 of us, like 9 other women who are traveling. They have committed themselves to really dive deep, like the book, The Wyrding Way. It's about the mysterious art of weaving your own destiny. It's about how the nuance, going to the roots of our essence, the tree of life, which is the card also I drew today, and there are no coincidences. So meeting with you today and today's energy, the tree of life, that's the 3 nuance that sit at the roots by the world tree Yggdrasil. And this is how we can similarly, if we commit ourselves to get to the root, why are we here as souls who descended to the physical realm? Why are we here? What is our purpose? If you commit yourself to dive deep, this is the Wyrding Way, and it keeps like becoming deeper and wider depending how much we dive in. Like in our talk, similarly, it's like we have the space of this, like this Wyrding Well Wisdom, but it's up to us. How deep do we want to go? And it's all about discovering, like this week, of our roots. Like we were looking at the numerology number, our sun Rune, which gives us great insights about our purpose, what we're here for. We have been looking at the Birigini. The Birigini in Russian is like the main goddess energy, which is expressing through us. And yeah, so this week has been all about those different roots which make up our personalities, and it's very, very exciting. So that's why I call it as a real soul journey, and not just a course which you attend and then you do homework. No, it's depending how you want to open yourself up to this well of wisdom of your own soul. It's so exciting, really exciting. Yeah.
I know. I saw that you had drawn the Raven Berigini one for today, and I was out walking my dog this morning, and I saw 4 ravens were flying. There were 2 pairs, and I'm thinking of Hugin and Moonin, because I've been doing the work of, trying to decipher Hugin and Moonin and going deep and understanding how emotion, the deep wells of emotion, play into memory. And this is all of really memory, the north of the path. And the 4 ravens were circling overhead, and they were following my path with the dog, and they finally flew right overhead, and they were flying in figure 8 shapes and calling to each other in very gentle, harmonious, almost sounded like they were laughing from joy. And they were there, the 4 ravens. And so, and then, in the States, we've been having some racial issues coming up.
Yeah, since the murder of the black man, right? Yes. 2 days ago.
Yes, George Floyd. And there's rioting in the capitals and destruction of property. And it's drawing attention to a problem that has been under the surface for a long time. So it's coming from the root into daylight, where people have to look at it and deal with it and no longer try to cover it over, so we can have honesty and truth in our relationships with each other. But what was really nice, the raven flew up into the sun, and for a moment, its black vanished under the light and it was white. And I realized, you know, black is the sum of all colors, and white is the reflection of light. Black and white, you know, and it's not really the color of your skin, it's the color of your soul. And we talk about soul work and soul journeys, and we look at the threads and we see all colors of the threads. And I'm doing a history of Yggdrasil for myself, embroidery, and it's a deep work, but I have all of my threads around me in colors. And I'm thinking, you know, it's so beautiful, this human journey. And whatever our nationality, whatever our religion, whatever our beliefs, we have all of this untapped potential to love, to learn, to share, to practice kindness, to rise of our own darkness, which I think when we visit Havergilmer, it's a visit to our soul, and we need to see to bring our seeds up into the light of day.
Yes.
So it's not only about creating things of beauty. You know, you and I are artistic souls, so we do beautiful things. We draw, we paint, we sew, but it's also about going within and weeding out those things that no longer serve our life. You know, so I weed out hatred, I weed out prejudice, I weed out things that I can't love. But I look at those things, I don't throw them away. I look to see what is that they brought me. What is the gift? Because every shadow of pain is teaching you something that you're not receiving, that you're either not letting in, or when you're a child, people don't let you have it. You know, there's just so many things, but there's always the gift. So, you know, if the gift of these times, I don't know what that little pinging is. Is someone trying to chat?
Yeah, somebody's trying to call me, but this is not the right timing now, so I will deal with this later. But that was the noise in between. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. No, I just, you know, would say to people, if you're having a problem, if you're suffering, if you're in pain, look at what the gift is. You know, it might take a while to uncover that.
Well, this is also so timely because yesterday there was also my trainer of soul-based coaching, Annemiek van Helsing. She opened this thread about what we as privileged whites can do to show our empathy, and also opening up this space to come up with ideas like how can we weave this new society where this racism that no longer exists. And I mean, we are far from that. And since I love to work with embodied metaphors, and this is so much part also of my weaving work, for me it is about unknotting racism, because it is part of those threads which make up our humanity. But obviously some threads get knotted, or they are blocked. So for me, it's like really shining light on this and unknotting racism, or everybody with their own part and contribution. So weave the tapestry. And yesterday I have sent this great organization. It's called weavethepeople.org. It's actually in America by David Brooks, who also wrote a great book about how to weave new relationships and belonging into society, which is very ripped apart. And I think this is such a great example of, and I would love to see it in all countries, where people start to look, how can we weave together all parts? No longer just saying, oh, this does not belong to us, this is not good. No, sometimes it needs unraveling, it needs unknotting, but it's still part of us. And how can we all become weavers? Yeah, and I love this embodied metaphor, which is not even a metaphor. I think it's a great guiding light how we can come together in society and do that. And we are not alone in that. I mean, opening up this space to talk about that, to look where it's like a knot in there, like with this racism, and try to come together and find solutions together to unknot that.
Yes. 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 I love that embodied metaphor idea. It's like telling a story until you believe it, but then being willing to look at the story you've been telling and change the parts of it and make it successful. You know, it's, you know, I had a friend who grew up with Black people, and her experience was so different than mine. You know, she grew up in a city where they would, you know, the inner city Blacks would bully her, and her story was different than mine. And it took me a while to understand, you know, the generational effect of violence. You know, so what one generation experiences, they teach their children. So we have some pictures on Facebook of babies getting along of each color. And then we have families who teach racism, and we have families who don't. You know, I think it's so important how it comes back to how we teach our children. You know, my son called me yesterday from the Marines, and he was talking about the racial problem and how wrong it was that George Floyd was murdered. And I thought, good, because I had an impression on him that he's not afraid to have friends of people of color.
Well, for me, this is so alive because I was married to a Moroccan guy, and we have got a child together who carries like 4 cultures. I myself am also from different culture background. I'm working now for over 20 years with multicultural organizations up until last month. It's such an alive thread in my life. It's like breath to me, with all its challenges which come along this path. I think that this is just an invitation, like you started this conversation, to look how we deal with the weakest in our society. And yesterday's podcast by Michael Mead about truth to meaning, wisdom of truth and meaning to healing, he told an old myth story about a boy who has been bitten by a snake, and it represents all different people in society who try to heal this boy. And we see a wealthy man, he cannot heal him. We see a healer who actually doesn't know how to heal a snake bite. And there's also the mother, and the medicine of the story is it's the mother who is the first one who starts to tell the truth that she's actually married but not in love, and that she's only staying with this man because everybody in society expects so. And the story I found is so helpful. It's about telling this truth of the mother that starts then to heal the son. So it's not what we usually think, oh, the medicine man, or this, somebody who's got lots of money can buy you this man. None of that. It starts with our unique truth. And how I interpret the story as well, how do we deal with the weakest in our society, be it children, be it people of color, women, people with special needs. That decides about the future of our society. Are we weaving a society, a tapestry, which comes together into wholeness, or does it separate us on all different levels? And so this, whole topic about racism, I think, it's very fitting to this open question, which Michael Mean always poses with his podcasts. I think
it's beautiful. It's very beautiful.
And what I
didn't
find
get a
so
chance
empowering,
to watch that.
and I think what's so empowering in that is really that everybody of us carries a unique truth. And just by telling that and staying truthful to that, we get a bigger sense of meaning, a greater sense of our soul purpose in the world. And that's how we bring the healing, this high vibration into the society. Not by like outrageous, heroic acts like this a lot of times think. No, stay with your own unique truth, and that's enough. If everybody would do that, that's already a great message.
I think you're right. And I've been seeing that more and more myself. You know, maybe we don't need the hero's journey. We just need the journey to our heart to find the life purpose. And that's why this entire message of going to the root is so essential, because you might think one thing, you might have one belief, and yet when you get to it, you'll find that that belief was masking the truth. And when the truth comes out, you are made whole.
Yes.
You know, it's like in the Bible, know the truth and the truth will set you free.
Yeah.
And that's what all of this inner work is really all about. It's feeling free from the conditioning of the past and free from the lies of culture, of society, of people who don't know any better.
Yes. Yes. So true. And now you're frozen.
So holding the space. Yes. I was
you were frozen. You were frozen there. What was the last thing you said?
I try to remember holding our own space, and the truth will set us free. You know, the truth will set us free from the lies of the conditioning, wrong beliefs, wrong conclusions, things that we perceive not totally accurately, but just being open, being fluid and detached, not frozen, but fluid and detached, and looking at things with an open mind. You know, that was part of where my writing led me this week. You know, the need to be fluid and look at things from more than one point of view.
Have you got any suggestions how we can stay more fluid?
Be like water. Water has 3 states, right? You can be like ice, Lisa. You can be flagooze, or you can be vibrant and windy like Ansu's air. And understanding, have the self-knowledge to know what state you're in. You know, if it's a frozen time, go with it. Be restful. If it's a fluid time, go with it. Be creative. If it's a air time, go with it. Let the winds blow. You know, do like Renee Baribeau with the wind walks. Let the winds come on you and watch the treetops, and not just the treetops, but, you know, allow yourself to walk in the rainstorms and understand that these are all part of who I am. You know,
Mm.
it's part of me too. You know, if I get angry at the wrongs that people do, it doesn't help me to solve them. But if I go out and say to someone, you know, change your point of view, or look at all sides of the question, or you know, I take a stand for treating all human beings equally, it makes that impact. What you said before was so important. Just do your own part. Do your own part. Stand in your own ground. I like what you said before. That's still resonating with me, Erica.
Mm.
Standing your own ground and knowing what it is that you have to say, you know, knowing what it is that is your message in the world.
Yes. Yes, and we can all find ways. Well, I wish that everybody finds their own unique soul's expression, either through yoga, dance, meditation. I mean, it could be so many things where we feel really connected with all our energy centers. Because, like what you said about the water, it's also like the 6 natural cycles in the Wyrding way, what I talk about, which are also the 9 dimensions on the Yggdrasil. But it's all about entering our side, centering ourselves, where we can become like this observer, the meta perspective, yeah, the higher self, like detached, and then we can find from the centered state, we can look at it. How am I experiencing something? Yeah, is it from the subconscious realm? Is it from there? From there, like the 6 natural cycles are all about, like, am I more like in the seed state in the mother womb? Am I like more like working through my personality self, like with the different character traits? Am I in the hell, which just really feels like, wow, my God, I'm dying, like, whilst we're renewed? And then we stand up, it's more like fruitful gods. And then, like, those are the elves who are also bodhisattvas, Jesus Christ, Buddha, who are very enlightened beings who also been through all those human challenges. And we all have got that. We all have got that. It's just a matter if we know to center ourselves and to become like this observer self, to be more conscious, what are we going through? And if we can do that for ourselves, we can do it in society as well. Like you started the conversation, it's like looking, where does this racism originate from? Yeah, this is just a shadow coming up from our ideal, subconscious society self. Look at that, yeah, and embrace it, because it's all part of our human development, and just a suggestion to embrace it and to heal it, to become more whole for ourselves and as a society. And yeah, and I've been looking at a lot of videos, like, and giving like exercises within my soul journey, Wyrding Well Soul Journey, by a guy who's called Aaron Doughty, and he talks a lot about this current times of purging, like the corona times, yeah, all problems which are rising now to the surface are an invitation to look, to embrace, and then purge what no longer serves in society, because otherwise
Right,
we
right.
cannot ascend without embracing those things first, or letting go what no longer serves. Like, all
That is
systems are now breaking up, which no longer serves. It's positive because we can consciously look at it and say, well, the economy does not work. Then we purge, we let it go. Yeah. Racism, things like that, that doesn't serve the society. We have to let it go. Yeah. But this letting go process, I think, is a lot of times misunderstood. It doesn't mean getting stuck in it and just look at these bad things, you know. No, it's shining light on this, but from this observer perspective, from the unity consciousness, and then embracing it like a loving mother does. Yeah, so that's,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly, and moving through it, moving through it, not getting stuck in it, moving through it. I saw, you know how I'm always walking and I'm seeing rune symbols in the woods, but this is the one I saw this morning. As I've been seeing this all year, but it's like an open-ended Dagaz, and I finally understood it this morning. I think it means that humanity is coming into an opportunity for a new consciousness.
Now I can see it, because you're always like delayed showing up. Okay, I was looking forward for you to share that. It's an open Dagaz. Dagaz is more like this glasses I always perceive,
like that.
Day and night, but this one is open.
It's open, and I've been seeing branches like that ever since the year turned. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. What does it mean? What does it mean? And this morning I understood it. When I realized the race wars and the unfinished business of my country, we have to move into a new acceptance, a new consciousness, you know, a new consciousness of what it means to be human. And it's not that we have our differences. We look at our similarities, you know, we look at our similarities, not our differences. We breathe the same air. We drink water. We live on the same earth. We live on the same earth home, you know, and we need to take care of earth home. And all of these things that have been happening, it's just a total amazing miracle that the whole earth shuts down human activity at the same time. And different places are dealing with it differently, you know, and yet we have to deal with it. We have to care for one another. And the people who don't are impatient. They're getting out there, and they might, you know, they might catch it. Who, you know, it's like, it's a learning curve for everyone. But it's not about being afraid. It's about stepping through fear to see what's on the other side. So we can have curiosity, and we can have wonderment, and we can have love, and we can have joy, and we can have all of these good things. All of us can have that, you know? And it's also a matter of making sure, and I think maybe America is worse at it than every other place, but it's about making sure that everybody has enough to eat, everybody has shelter, everybody has a right to live without fear. And then you can develop the fullness of human potential. We can then reach for the stars, then reach for the curiosity, then reach for the wonderment and the sharing of how beautiful it is as we have these conversations. You and I, we have these conversations once a week, and we have these things that we agree. We have these areas that we expand each other, and it's beautiful.
Yes, absolutely beautiful. And it's an invitation that everybody who comes and shows up to feel into what comes up from this well of wisdom is nothing else like this, what is emerging to us, because we are all divine beings. And it's just like offering space to feel into what is coming up. And if we share it like now, we listen to each other, then that's how this is emerging, this new thing. And this is, I think, so empowering, because it's simple. It's not easy, because what might comes up is not always easy. Like, we started with a very uneasy topic, like racism, and everything is like anything else than easy. But if we give it space and shining light on it and love, then that can go through hell on the medicine wheel. This is like the hell, where the shadow get burnt. And then the hell is like Hulda. She's also the loving mother. Because once we are like rest and like give everything, what is the hardship of ours there in the hell, it gets burnt and it gets rebirthed again. We just need to learn to trust the
Yes.
processes, these natural processes.
That is a key right there, because I think we get so caught in ego wants to control. You know, there's a part of us that wants to control the outcomes. And we work very hard to keep that control, but it's not ours to control. It's to the larger perspective of the spirits and the gods and the archetypes. Like you say, at the crown chakra, you know, all of these beings are working behind the scenes that we can have this wonderful life here on earth if we just give that birth.
Yes. And it's so beautiful, like with this, like I'm working with timelines like the nuns do. It comes from the Russian healing methods, or like quantum healing. That's like what the nuns do. If we center ourselves in the zero field, I call it weird, like the rune of nothingness. If we learn ourselves to center there, we can choose which timeline we want to be in. And there are great videos by this Aaron Doughty. He also teaches like traveling with the timelines, and he also teaches that now this time is like going from 3D, 4D, and 5D, and it happens almost simultaneously. And everybody can do that. If we learn to just tap into that, we can weave ourselves into this new timeline of the 5D, for example, because 5D is unity consciousness. If you choose to be on this timeline, you automatically experience love for all beings, for all parts, for everything. And this is the time now which we are going through. Like Barbara Marx Hubbard used to also say, this is the crisis which is a rebirth. And it's up to us humans to say yes, that we are here on earth. We have got a vocational arousal which is emerging through us. There's the divine birthing something anew through us. And we need to decide, do we want to give a full body yes to emerge, to get to this higher timeline, or the womb can also become the womb can also become a tomb. A tomb is like when you just stuck in the fear and the lower vibration and the anxiety, so everything is bad. Then obviously you're not going to rise to this next timeline.
No.
It needs to have this full body yes, this full embracement of why you came here for as a soul. And then you can become a time shifter or creator like the nuns. Like they immediately weave the timelines.
When you embrace it, it just happens right now. It just happens. We get the opportunities. You know, I'm planning my own 6-week online soul journey, but it's coming to me what the Norns are telling me I need to do, and it's just wow. You know, sometimes it comes so fast, it's overwhelming, but it's a matter of just being calm and writing everything down and deciding how to proceed. Yes. So it's a journey of love. You know, it's a journey of love and laughter and but I'm so happy when people expand. You know, it's like your work overlaps, my work overlaps somebody else's work, and it just makes life meaningful. It's just beautiful. And I get more and more into the mythology, and it's all there. Yes. Everything is in the mythology.
Yes. Everything is in the mythology, the same like everything is in our metaphors, in our dreams. Everything is already there. Just a matter of whether we open ourselves up to us, to see it and to embrace it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And like you say, it's really like the 3D is like more like in the lower chakras, like which also come up when you work with the roots, the sacral and the solar plexus. This is all like undealt issues. They all come up in this lower chakras,
Yes.
and once we
Yes.
learn to embrace those, then we are coming in the 4D world, which is all about the heart, loving consciousness. And I think there are no coincidences why is the corona crisis standing for the crown. It's once again ascending. Once you integrated all those parts, you also ascend to the crown chakra, which is higher to this higher self and this unity consciousness. And it's all about embracing all of this. And it's not like you disregard the lower chakras. No, it's like a real integration process. And for that, we have to go to the root again and try to
And
make
we
all
might,
those experience to integrate them. And I just love this
yes.
metaphor of the soul coming from above, and it descends, makes all this experience up to the lowest chakras, to the most dark parts of ourself, and then obviously it doesn't stop. It's a cyclical process, and then it's rising again. And Kundalini energy, when it's flowing, it's nothing else than when you integrated all those energies, then it's a natural flow. And even if it triggers, the shadows come up, you don't get stuck in them. No, you feel into this. Okay. So this comes from there. Okay. And I embrace it. And when something shows up, whether it's disease or like the racism, it's a problem in the lowest chakras. Yeah, or also for society. And to look into this and integrate this and heal it and bring it into wholeness, into flow.
Yeah. I had to face something in myself the other day, and this might help people, so I'll just share it real quick.
Yes, please.
Because I know we're almost out of time, but I thought when this race thing happened, and I immediately felt all of this guilt and shame just because I'm white, my skin is light. And I had to feel into that because I don't do things to other people that are hurtful to the best of my ability. I just don't. And so I realized that I wasn't stepping into my own shadow. I was stepping into the shadow of my country's racism. And there are people there are white people who feel guilt and shame for what all white people do. But I thought, this is not wise. This is not wise. Because if I feel guilt and shame down to Helheim, I'm not climbing up where I can shine light on the problem. So I step into it. Like we talk about stepping into our emotion, and I intensified it, and I saw where it was coming from. And so I've been sharing that on Facebook a little bit so that people can be free of that, so that they can deal with the reality of the problem. You know, it's not about hiding from it. It's about stepping into it and owning it. You know, America has its shadows of racism. It has we have our history that is not always truthfully told in schools, but we have a history, you know, and we're not the only country to have a history.
Yeah, sure.
But we have this history. So let's admit it. Let's admit it. And once we admit it, we can deal with it.
Yes. This is so helpful, this
So
example from...
I pray for all peoples to come into an open heart. And I pray for all peoples to come into an open mind and being willing to listen and speak their truth and listen and speak their truth. And it's in that cycle. It's in that cycle. that you were talking about, the ascending and descending. It's not just for a person, but it's for all people who come together to make life better. This is the tree of life. Let's grow it.
Yes. And thank you so much for this example out of your own life, which I'm sure so many people can relate to, either being overwhelmed or ashamed or helpless, feeling helpless, how to do it. And this is such a great example how you can really take the responsibility for looking at it, feeling into it, where it comes from, whether it's also part of your shadow, and if it's not, then lovingly let it go, and concentrate on your highest light and truth. And beautiful example from everyday life. Thank you for that.
So I have 3 words for today if you want to hear them.
Yes, of course.
Fluid. Detached. And truthful.
So fluid, detached, and truthful. I don't know whether I want to add to that. Whether we want to have more than 3.
I think you said it best in the middle of our podcast when you said, find your own soul's purpose, your own soul's work, and stand on your own spot. I don't know how you want to say that in one word, but
yeah, exactly.
You really did have an important point there.
Well, it's already part of the truthful, which you said, find your own soul's purpose. There's so many words. Find your own soul's purpose. This is the Wyrding way.
This is the Wyrding way. This is grateful.
And unknotting racism. I like that as well. Unknotting racism.
Exactly.
Fluid,
Let's
detached.
add that one.
Yeah, so here we are. So nourished. So many things. Beautiful things arising from our well of wisdom.
Weird Wisdom Well. I love that name, and Erica came up with that. But each week we're going to grow something to inspire our viewers, our listeners, our watchers. And just, I like to say at the end, Erica has her word. I like to go, Rune blessings. And Erica says, Lagadaru.
Lagadaru with many, many blessings.
Lagadaru.
And until we meet again.
Until we meet again. Be well, my friend. And thank you. Thank you so much for all of your inspiration.
Be well. And thank you as well from the heart. And just comes to me that's why we in yoga always do like from the heart, for lots of love and loving intentions from the mouth, for beautiful words to share, and here for the beautiful thoughts.
And sometimes I do the Dagaz just to open it up.